Churchfront. I want to show you today how to configure the EFNote 703 kit for kind of a modern worship sort of sound. So let me go ahead and break this down for you. Before I walk you through the module and the configuration and tuning for each individual piece here, I just want to talk to you about kind of overview of what I'm going for as I'm doing this, walking you through the process. So for cymbals, I'm definitely trying to have a little bit darker feel to them. For the toms and snare, a little more beefy. We're not looking for, a high-tuned piccolo sort of sound, this pank, we're looking for more balanced sort of tone. Especially with toms, we want to think about how long are they resonating. You don't want to hit a tom and have it just continue going for 10 seconds. That's going to start bleeding into other things. It's going to start messing up the mix. So we want to have it cut off after a couple seconds, but I don't want it completely dead either. So let me just go ahead and walk you through, maybe starting with the hi-hat. The cool thing about this kit is it actually has the ability to have a hi-hat calibration. So you're able to set this so that it's right for you. So as you open and close, the weight that you're using, the optical sensors are going to auto configure to your style. So it's gonna sound just right as you're opening and closing. I love that feature. But let's go ahead and go back into the kit edit here. So for me, I've chosen kind of, again, like a darker sort of tone, the ZD Dark H14. And on the tuning, I have it higher. So, tuning obviously starts at 0. I've got it cranked up quite a good bit because I like that response on it. I like it to sound real snappy, but I have added a little bit of muffling so that it's not too clangy. But this sounded really good to me. It's got a lot of response, as we're playing through it there, but it's not overwhelming. And you can obviously adjust the level here. And this is something you want to be talking with your front of house engineer just about, hey, what levels should we be looking at? For the hi-hat, I'm feeling pretty good about that. Let's move to the snare. So here at Rock Harbor, we have it set up to basically be sending a dry signal to front of house. And so we're just, want to keep it pretty leveled out in terms of that so that we can add effects, we can adjust the gain for the room. But, if you're rehearsing, if you want to, just kind of monitor yourself through the kit, then you can adjust the level and the gain through decibels right through the unit so you can hear exactly what you want to. But probably when you're working with a front of house engineer, you just want to go ahead and send kind of a flat, dry signal out to them. For the edge, if I want to muffle the edge a little bit more, I can do that. If I want to muffle the top a little bit more, which I've done here just a little bit, you're able to do that as well. Okay, so let's go to the snare drum. Again, I've got the LWPO brass 30 set here. I love that, just tone straight out of the box, but I did tune this a little bit so that we've got, it's tuned up just a touch. Obviously, you can adjust this to your liking. But again, what I'm going for here is a balance of, some of the tone coming from the drum, but not just killing it all, by using muffling to you can take that, or you can take the muffling all the way up. I wouldn't recommend that because it's just going to sound very dead. For worship environment, you do want some of the tone of the drum without being overwhelming. Obviously, you can change the frequency response here as well for the snare, but again, we're going to keep that kind of flat for this configuration here. So let's go ahead and go to the tom. I think with the toms, it's very important that you're listening for the tuning. So I've got an OC, Maple T12 by 10 here, and I've got the tuning at -270. Again, this is a kind of a lower tuning, more of a beefy sort of sound. We've got a little bit of muffling on this guy, but I just, it sounds nice. It's not resonating too long. It's not overwhelming other parts of the kit. So it's a great place to start. Now, as you're moving through the other toms, as I'm going to the second, you want to keep in mind that you want it to be a natural progression from tom to tom. You don't want a super high, pitch tom to super low right away. We kind of, since we have 3 toms we're working with, we want it to be a natural progression from high, mid to low. And so I just kind of, using my ears, just listening through, what's the natural tuning? So on that second tom especially, I had to bring it down quite a bit because it wasn't a natural kind of transition between them. So I brought that down to 320 on that second tom, and that's a 14 by 14 that they're modeling that after. Muffling, I don't have any there because it doesn't seem like it was resonating too long. So feels good to me. We go to that third one. I had to actually pull this one up. I think the tuning was at about 0. It just felt a little too low. I'll kind of let you hear what that sounded like. So I just bring it up just a little bit. In muffling, again, I didn't need to do anything on this OC Maple T18 by 18. Didn't feel like it was resonating too long. Those feel good to me. Obviously, if I played with this kit for a couple months, I'd go in and probably EQ things a little bit more, but just, for a quick sit down, this felt really good to me. Let's go to the cymbals here. So let's do the 16-inch crash. I've got, again, a dark type sound. This is ZD Dark C17. Tuning, I brought this guy a little bit down because I felt that here it just seemed a little high. So you can hear it, just little variances there as you bring it down. Muffling, didn't really need to do that. I probably wouldn't muffle cymbals a whole lot, for maybe certain environments you would. Again, it's dependent on the room that you're working with. So if things feel echoing too much, there's too much reverb, obviously you can muffle that. So let's go over to the ride now. Again, I've got a PL Dry R20. I didn't do anything to this one because just kind of right out of the gate there, I like the sound of it. And it felt good to me. So I think that's the cool thing too, is like you can get customized, but a lot of these tones that they're working with are just great as is. And with this one, they actually record all of their own samples. So EFNote, they specialize in creating these samples. They're unique. They're great sounding samples, but sometimes you're just gonna love it right off the gate and you don't even have to tweak it much. So that's an awesome thing as well. Now let's move over to this other crash here. So this guy got another dark. This is a 18, so a little bit larger, kind of darker feel. Again, I brought the tuning down on this one because I felt like it was just a little high initially. Yeah, that one's feeling good. And then finally, we'll get to our UF30 C19. This is a FX cymbal, basically. This is going to be a 2-zone opposed to the 3 on the other cymbals. So you can change the tone from the edge to the bow. But I just found, you can go into the settings here and you can change the different type of china that you want to work with. They've got more of a thin, medium, dark. But there's a lot of different choices here to go through and just find the right one for you. For kind of a modern worship setting, you don't hear a lot of china. That's more, can be kind of a metal thing or, jazz or things like that. But for me, I just kind of found one that sounded good to me and kind of went from there. So now let's go to the kick. One of the most important parts of the kit. The kick drum, I picked the DC Maple 2, the K22 by 18. It felt nice and deep and beefy to me, but it also had attack to it. And I think for me, I always want to be hearing some good attack on the kick drum, because otherwise, if it's too beefy, too low, it's just going to sound like another tom, or it just kind of gets caught up in the low end of the mix, and you're not getting any definition there. So the kick drum is very important, that you've got that attack, and it's configured in a way that it's cutting through even when you're playing with the tom. So on the kick drum, I did take the tuning down to -470. Just felt like it's getting the tone that I'm liking, but we're still getting that attack. And with muffling, I would say it's like throwing a pillow in the kick drum. If you wanted a little bit more muffling, again, I didn't see a need for it. Just listening to it, in my custom in-ears here, but that's something that you could add if you would like that. Hey, so here's what it sounds like. Hey, so Churchfront is now dealers of EFNote kits. So if you're interested, you'd like to talk through the different configuration options for your church, go ahead and click the link below, set a call with me. I'd be happy to walk you through what's the right configuration for you, what are the questions, concerns that you have. Maybe you're an acoustic drummer, haven't really thought about this. I'd love to talk through that with you. So thanks for watching.